There are times in life when the best thing you can do is remain silent. Not because you're weak, not because you don't have the right words, but because silence speaks louder than any argument. Silence carries strength that shouting never could. When someone mistreats you, when life feels unfair, the natural instinct is to defend, to prove, to raise your voice so everyone knows your side. But real power is not in the noise, it's in the restraint. It's knowing that you don't have to attend every battle. You don't have to respond to every critic. You don't have to fight every fight. Sometimes your silence is your greatest weapon because it shows that you're secure in who you are and in what God has placed within you. Think about this. Shouting is often a sign of insecurity, but silence is a sign of confidence. When you can stay calm in the middle of tension, when you can keep your peace in the heat of conflict, you're showing strength. It takes no discipline to shout back, but it takes real character to stay silent. The loudest person in the room isn't always the strongest. Often, the strongest person is the one who refuses to let words drag them down. Silence is not about ignoring the issue. It's about choosing your battles wisely. Fifth, if you spend all your energy fighting every little offense, proving yourself to every critic, you'll drain your joy. You'll waste the energy you need for your destiny. There are moments when the best thing you can do is let your silence speak. Let your character do the talking. Let your fruit show people who you are. Silence doesn't mean you've lost. It means you're wise enough to save your strength for where it really matters. I once heard it said, you don't have to tell people you're valuable, just keep shining and they'll see it. That's the power of silence. While others are shouting, you're building. While they're arguing, you're growing. While they're making noise, you're preparing for what's ahead. Silence allows you to rise above the distractions, to stay focused on your purpose, and to prove not with words, but with results that you are unstoppable. When life puts you in a position where people expect you to break, your silence can surprise them. When they expect anger, you respond with peace. When they expect chaos, you hold steady. That's how silence becomes power. It shifts the atmosphere, it disarms negativity, it confuses the enemy. Instead of feeding conflict, you starve it. Instead of fueling anger, you choose peace. So the next time someone tries to pull you into an argument, the next time a situation tempts you to shout just to be heard, remember this: your silence is not weakness, your silence is strength. Your silence is wisdom, and then your silence will always speak louder than shouting ever could. Silence reflects strength and confidence in a way that shouting never could. Many times in life, people think that raising their voice, demanding attention, or trying to prove their worth will show strength. But the truth is, when you know who you are, you don't have to prove it with noise. Confidence doesn't need to scream. Real strength is quiet, steady, and unshakable. When you remain silent in the middle of provocation, when you hold your peace while others are shouting, you are showing that your foundation is strong. You are saying without words, I don't need to fight for recognition. I don't need to defend myself against every critic. My value is not determined by how loud I shout. My value comes from knowing who I am. That kind of confidence cannot be shaken by the opinions of people. Think about how powerful it is when someone expects you to lose control and you remain calm instead. That silence unsettles them more than any argument ever could. It shows you're in control of yourself, and that is true power. Anybody can shout back when they feel insulted, but it takes discipline to stay silent. Anybody can get loud to demand respect, but real respect comes from carrying yourself with dignity, even when others don't. Silence says, I don't need to lower myself to your level. I know who I am. That is the kind of confidence that cannot be shaken, and it is that confidence that moves you forward. When you shout, you often end up saying things you regret. In the heat of the moment, words spoken in anger can damage relationships, close doors, or create pain that lingers long after the argument is over. But silence gives you control over your words. It gives you the chance to think, to choose wisely, to protect your peace. Silence is not a lack of response. It is a deliberate choice not to let emotions rule you. It is wisdom in action. By staying silent, you are showing the world that you are bigger than the situation, that you are not easily shaken, and that your confidence is rooted deep inside. In relationships, silence often carries more weight than shouting. Shouting may demand attention, but silence earns respect. When you choose not to engage in petty arguments, when you refuse to let negativity pull you in, people notice. They may not say it, but deep down they admire the strength it takes to stay composed. Silence demonstrates maturity. It says, I have nothing to prove. I don't need to win this argument to feel secure. I already know who I am. That quiet assurance is far more powerful than any loud voice. There will always be situations in life that try to steal your peace. People will misunderstand you, criticize you, even insult you. You can't control what they do, but you can control your response. And the strongest response is often silence, because silence doesn't mean you're weak. Silence means you're strong enough to walk away, strong enough to let go, strong enough to rise above. It means you are wise enough not to waste your energy fighting battles that don't matter. That is confidence. That is strength. It's the same way with success. People who are truly confident don't need to broadcast every detail of their journey. They don't need to shout about what they're doing. They let the results speak for themselves. Silence focused on building. I'm not here to argue with you. My fruit will prove who I am. That kind of silent strength is undeniable. People may doubt you, they may criticize you, they may even laugh at you. But when you keep working in silence and then succeed, your results speak louder than any argument you could have had along the way. It's also a peace that comes with silence. Shouting stirs up tension, but silence brings calm. When you remain calm, you keep control of your spirit. You guard your mind. You stay focused on your purpose. That kind of strength is rare, but it's available to anyone willing to practice restraint. Silence allows you to conserve your energy, to stay clear-headed, to choose your battles wisely. It's not about never speaking up. It's about knowing when silence will carry more power than words. Imagine two people in a heated argument. Both are shouting, both are trying to be heard, and the volume just keeps climbing. Nobody wins in that scenario, because shouting doesn't lead to understanding. It leads to division. But when one person chooses silence, suddenly the atmosphere shifts. The shouting no longer has an opponent, and without a fight, the conflict begins to lose power. That's the hidden strength of silence. It disarms negativity. It takes away the fuel that keeps conflict alive. And it proves that sometimes the most powerful response is no response at all. True confidence doesn't need a spotlight. It doesn't need approval from people. It doesn't need to shout in order to be heard. It rests in knowing that you are secure, that your worth is not on trial, and that your destiny is not determined by someone else's opinion. That's why silence is powerful. It speaks volumes without a single word. It says, I trust my path. I trust my character. I trust that in time, the truth will be seen. And that kind of confidence is unshakable. So the next time you're tempted to shout to prove your point, the next time you feel pressured to defend yourself with noise, remember this. Your silence can carry more power than shouting ever could. Your silence shows strength, maturity, wisdom, and confidence. And in the end, that quiet strength will always take you further than the loudest voice in the room. Silence protects your energy and keeps you focused on your purpose. Every day there are countless distractions trying to pull you away from what really matters. People may criticize you, misunderstand you, or try to provoke you into arguments that have no real value. If you engage in every single battle, you'll exhaust yourself and lose sight of your bigger vision. That is why silence is so powerful. It creates a shield around your mind and spirit. It allows you to guard your energy and invest it where it produces growth. When you stay silent in the face of negativity, you're choosing not to waste your strength. You're saying, well, my energy is too valuable to be poured into pointless arguments. I need it for my future, for my dreams, for the things that truly matter. That choice will keep you aligned with your purpose and on track for your destiny. Think about how much energy shouting takes. It drains you emotionally, mentally, even physically. After an argument, you don't feel stronger. You feel weaker. Your peace is gone. Your focus is blurred and your spirit feels heavy. But when you remain silent, you conserve that strength. You walk away with your peace intact. You hold on to your joy. You protect the energy that's needed to build your future. Silence says, I refuse to let this momentary distraction steal the strength I need for my calling. That is wisdom. That is discipline. And that is how you stay strong for the journey ahead. Silence also helps you stay focused. In life, not every battle is worth fighting. Some battles are designed only to distract you. If you're constantly caught up in defending yourself, you won't have the time or clarity to move forward. But when you learn to stay silent, you protect your focus. You can't reach your destiny if you're always turning aside to argue with critics. You can't build the life you dream of if you're always trying to explain yourself to people who will never understand. Silence says, I don't need your approval to keep moving forward. My purpose is bigger than this argument. My destiny is greater than this distraction. That kind of focus will take you further than shouting ever could. In your personal growth, silence creates space for clarity. When you're not wasting words on conflict, your mind has the freedom to think clearly, to plan, to dream, to hear the whispers of wisdom guiding you forward. Shouting fills the air with noise, but silence opens the door for insight. Many breakthroughs in life come not in the noise of arguments, but in the stillness of quiet reflection. When you protect your energy through silence, you give yourself room to listen, to learn, and to grow. That growth is what propels you toward your destiny. Silence also protects your emotional health. Arguments and shouting stir up stress, anxiety, and frustration. They rob you of your peace and leave you feeling drained. But silence calms the storm. It keeps your emotions steady. It allows you to walk away without carrying the weight of negativity. Protecting your energy is not selfish. It's necessary. Because if you are constantly drained, you can't give your best to your family, your work, or your purpose. Silence helps you stay full, strong, and ready for the opportunities ahead. There will always be people who misunderstand your silence. They may think you're weak, or that you don't have a response. But silence is not weakness. It's strategy. It's knowing that your energy is too valuable to be spent on things that don't move you forward. Your silence is saying, I know where I'm going, and I refuse to be sidetracked by things that don't matter. Over time, those same people will see the results of your focus, and your success will speak louder than any words ever could. Another way silence protects your energy is by keeping you from planting seeds of regret. Words spoken in anger often bring consequences that last far beyond the moment. You may win the argument, but lose a relationship. You may speak your mind, but damage your reputation. But silence leaves no trail of regret. It protects you from unnecessary consequences. It allows you to walk away knowing you've preserved your integrity. That kind of strength allows you to keep moving forward with confidence and peace. In relationships, silence can be the difference between building bridges and burning them, shutting tears down, but silence holds space for peace. Silence gives room for understanding and for time to cool down. Protecting your energy doesn't mean ignoring issues, but it does mean choosing the right time and the right way to address them. When you stay silent, instead of reacting in anger, you give yourself the chance to respond later with wisdom, not emotion. That protects both your energy and the relationship itself. When you are focused on your purpose, you don't have time to waste on noise. Silence says, I'm too focused to be distracted. I'm too determined to be pulled off course. I'm too driven to let negativity steal my energy. Every dream requires energy, focus, and persistence. Silence makes sure you still have all three. It's a way of setting boundaries around your spirit, of saying no to the things that drain you so you can say yes to the things that build you. That discipline will keep you moving steadily toward your goals. So the next time you feel the urge to shout, the next time someone tries to pull you into a fight that has no value, remind yourself that your energy is precious. Protect it with silence. Keep your focus on your purpose. Let your actions and your success do the talking. In the end, silence will not only preserve your peace, it will give you the strength, clarity, and focus to step fully into the life you were created to live.